Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm, and let's just jump right into it. So in the previous episode I added now on the DT item, right, the attribute, and I just reload the engine, so that will avoid you guys to have that weird issue that sometimes the engine start to lose the references. Now for the Apple, what I'm gonna do here is that I am gonna basically you see here what I mean? Like I can actually add the attributes. I just forgot about one thing here, that I don't think we need to reload the engine. It's just that I am thinking, well, actually for now I'm gonna just keep it, and then after I'll change in the future, because I would like to add, add health, increase max health, or like what we're trying to do, right? But will be a future thing. Anyway, right now we're gonna add, let's say, 10 points of health, and the attribute here, it's health, which is great. Now on the sword we're gonna be a little bit more generous, so we're gonna add, let's say, I'm just gonna open up here, so we're gonna add, let's say, 25 points of health, and we are gonna add also, let's say, something like, instead of health I'm gonna change this to mana or stamina. I'm gonna add 25 as well of mana and health. Right, okay, that's cool. So we got here the item attribute. Now we do not have the information added right here, so as you can see it's not added here, so we need to make sure it adds right there. So to do that, what we're gonna do here is that we need to go here to the master inventory, and we need to go here to the widget item display. Sorry, no item display. Which one was it? Context menu, display item types, item display. I think we need to organize that a little bit better. I think it's here, item info. Yes, you see, it's a little bit like item doesn't mean anything, so I'm just gonna call item info, because otherwise we're gonna get lost with this. Anyway, let's open up our item info, and we got it right here added, which is good. Now we need to do the logic to add this data. The problem that we have here is that this thing is dynamic, so we need to create some kind of an item first, and then we display this information, right? So what we can do here is that we can right click, we're gonna go to the user interface, and we're gonna create here a new widget blueprint, and here I'm gonna select the user widget, and here I'm gonna call this WBP, let's say, item attribute display. All right, now I'm gonna open up the item attribute, and let's try to replicate exactly how we have here. I think we just need to literally add a scale. So we're gonna add here a scale box, right? And then within the scale box, what we need to add here is a text, right? And then within this text, what we gotta do here is that, of course, we need to change this to use the Cambria. We're gonna use the green color. Actually, let me just go back here to this, and I'm gonna copy that color right here. So that is this hex. So I'm just gonna maybe open up Notepad so you guys can, let's see, quickly pause the video and then see here, this is the hex color that I'm using, so feel free to pause and copy. Now if I go back here to the engine, I'm just gonna go back here and set up the hex, and it's a little bit darker. All right, now what we can do here is that we're gonna put this as title, right? And we can make it something like plus 24 health, right? Or something like so. Well, not this, sorry, health, right? So it's more or less what we're trying to do here. One thing that I noticed is that it's a little bit more darker, and it has some kind of a back. So maybe if I add an outline, or maybe a shadow. Do we have a shadow? Yes, we do have a shadow. You can try to add some maybe offset here. Maybe okay, 1 1. Apply drop shadow, shadow color. Not sure why it's not showing up my shadow. Maybe if I add 2 by 2, would that work? Or is because of the scale? I think it's something to do with the scale. But anyway, we can try to refactor that in a sec. Let's just focus first on how this should look and how it should behave. So the next thing we're going to do here is that we're going to create a variable, and this is going to be called a attribute, right? And the one we're looking for here, if we search for st attribute, is st item attribute. That's the one we want to use. Make sure that's exposed on spawn, which is great. And now what we can do here is that we can break the information, break it, and on the amount we can do a switch case. Now what we can do here is that we can call a function, but it's so small here that we don't have a proper information yet. Also, there's one thing here that I just noticed. Because our attribute use a data table here, so if I break it, is a row, right? So we need to get a data table row, right? So I'm going to plug this one right there. This is going to be called the attribute one. And from here we got the name, okay? So if it's found, which should be always found, then what we can actually do here is that I can even try to, for example, break this and store this as the attribute name, or in this case, even better, we can even store this as attribute info, right? And that can be public, so it doesn't need to be exposed. Plug it right there. Now the next thing we gotta do here is that you got the title, go to the graph, and then we come here and we're basically gonna set text, right? So we're gonna plug it right here. I'm gonna copy that and paste this one here. Oh, come on, copy and paste it there. Plug this one there, plug this one right here, which is good. And now basically we just need to, do the name, right? So for example here, I'm just gonna create a literal string, right? A literal string. And the literal string is gonna be like append. And we are gonna basically do here, right? In this case, it's a plus because we are adding. And then according to the design, it's just a space. So here, I'm just gonna cheat and just add a space right here. Now we need to add the amount. So now we already have the attribute info, so we can just break it, right? Can break it, and we already have the, the info. Now the info comes from the attribute itself, not the attribute info. A little bit confusing, but anyway, you got the amount, right? So we do it right here. And then we need to give the name of this. So I'm gonna add this, I'm gonna add 2. The first one here, I'm gonna add the space. And then I am gonna get this here, the item info. I'm gonna break, and then I'm just gonna assign the name, right? So something very manual at this point. Now, the thing that I would like to do here is that I would like to cast this to a function. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna collapse into a function, and this is gonna be called fn format attribute. Eventually this could be even a global function. This is gonna be converted to pure, all right? And we're just gonna basically return, make sure you cast this to pure, otherwise it won't work properly. And now what we gotta do here is that we need to put this, which is the output. And also this one here is that we're just gonna call the A, we're just gonna call action, right? And we're gonna compile and save. And then by default, we can even add, this plus. So we just can leave the little plus there. And now we gotta do here, you see we have the action. We just plug this thing right there. And we can copy and paste that and paste the one here. And we can leave the minus button right there. Nice. So this should be everything that we need for this item. Now let's just work on the item info. How do you load that data? So super easy to do. What am I going to do here is that I am gonna add a vertical box because I need a panel where to add all this stuff. And this is gonna be called a stats box. And I am gonna search for WBP item display. Item attribute display. And I just wanna see how does it look. Right now it doesn't look great. So maybe what we can try to do here is that how do we do that on the designs? It's just always online. So we can maybe try to do something like that. That looks a little bit better, but the problem is the font size of the widget. So let's go back to design. What is the font size that we have right here? Some reason I can't click on it. My computer's a little bit slow, so I'm just gonna basically try to figure out by hand here for now. So what we can try maybe is to add 12. So it doesn't look too bad here, but let's see how this is gonna look right here. I think 12 is too small. I mean, actually, it's not that bad. What I can probably add here is just a padding here on the top. Maybe we can add 20. Sorry, not on top, sorry, on the left, we can add like 20. Yeah, that looks good. And then on top, I'm just gonna add something like maybe 10 or something. So as you can see now, we kind of have that design pretty much done. Now, of course we can delete this. This is just a way to test it. The stats box must be variable. Now on the graph, when we load the data, so sorry, I don't want to do that. I don't know why that model is showing up all the time. So now the stats box, I'm gonna basically get this. And I'm gonna get the items lot. I'm gonna break the item. And then in here, I'm gonna do a for each loop. Now we got that data properly set up, which is nice. So I'm gonna align everything here. And now I'm gonna basically do that, create a widget. The widget that we would like to create is the WBP, right? WBP item attribute display. And then in here, we just need to pass the attribute. And now what you're going to do is that you need to append, or in this case here, add child. And you need to add the attribute right here, right? And basically that should be everything that we need. And I am feeling pretty confident about this. I think that's pretty much, so if I go back here, look at that. So for some reason, it's not quite adding on the center. It's like adding this is messing up a little bit our design here, as you can see, right? So let's see what's going on with this, because in here it looks quite good, but I'm not sure why. So maybe I'm gonna try to add fill, and then I'm gonna try to see if that works. So if I go back, yeah, the item, still sending everything there. Maybe I'm gonna do left align horizontally. I think that's what I gotta do. I have a feeling that we need to align all those horizontally. Let's see. Yeah, that looks better. I think it was just that the issue. And as you can see, everything's aligned that, which is nice. The only thing that I'm gonna change is just the left. I'm probably gonna add maybe 15. Let's see if that's gonna be a good shout or not. So if you're gonna add here, we're gonna get the items here and now. 10, 20, and that's it. As you can see, now we have the health information right there. Maybe the next thing will be something to do with levels. But what I would like to do here is that I'm going to stop here because this concludes our level system. And what I would like to do in the next video, guys, is that maybe start to work towards our maybe setting up the other items that we have, because right now we have a piece of armor to equip, or maybe some trousers or something. So I would like to do the male and the female version, and then we can actually change that. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you guys in the next one.